and a warm welcome to another edition of To The Point. As the NDA government completes a year, a battery of ministers are listing out their achievements as to what they have done for the last 1 year. On the show today, we have the firebrand Sadhvi of Modi's cabinet. I welcome Madam Uma Bharti ji. Welcome, ma'am, on To The Point. How has the journey been for the last 1 year for you as a leader and also for your ministry?
I never consider myself a leader.
Okay.
Yeah, I always consider myself an ordinary person. But since 1 year as a minister, it was a kind of a dream coming true. Because since 2011, I was involved in Ganga movement. And I could never believe that there will be ministry in the name of Ganga.
Okay.
And I will be the minister. So for me, it is the dream converting into a reality. So I can say the journey of this year was the happiest year of my life so far.
Okay. But many people are saying that now you have converted yourself from a firebrand to a water brand. Is it a reality?
No, actually, the brands are given by the press.
Okay.
And I don't blame them because they brand us because of our activities. So there was a time when BJP was building itself through the movements, and luckily I just entered when BJP was beginning its journey and it was expanding itself. And that time...
And you entered at the right time.
The right time actually. And I participated, almost led. I was the kind of second leader after running in almost all the movement which BJP took that time. So because of that, I was branded firebrand.
Mm-hmm.
And now it has changed. Now I have been given water resource, river development, Ganga rejuvenation. So now I'm water brand.
But Umaji, this new ministry, Ganga as a separate ministry, which you yourself had said that you had never imagined that a separate ministry will come up. This new separate ministry, is it really value adding to the water resources ministry? Maybe in terms of work, would you say that it's a real value addition?
Actually, the role of water resource ministry was very different.
Right.
It was a ministry in a sleepy position.
Right.
Because the major role of the ministry was to release grants to the state.
I remember because all the journalists have been saying that water resources was a very low-key ministry.
It was. And Ganga is something which is the demand of the world. And Ganga right now today is in a very bad position. So the challenge is also there. It is not that the ministry has gained high profile because of the Ganga. Ministry is facing a challenge also.
But Didi, do you find any merit in arguments of Jairam Ramesh when he said that Ganga was formed as a separate ministry because BJP wanted to saffronize the whole issue and, come up with that Hindutva ideology because it's related to the Hindu sentiment? Do you find any merit with that statement?
The person you are talking, I consider him my guru, Jairam Ramesh.
Okay.
Because when I took this Ganga movement, he was the Minister for Environment. And Ganga was part of his ministry. So I used to meet him. And he used to inspire me, motivate me, and tell me many things. So I cannot understand why did he say that. Because could he forget that Ganga is connected with the economy of this country also?
Right.
Because Ganga is flowing through 5 states. And out of those 5 states, 2 states are the biggest state of this country, Bihar and Uttar Pradesh.
Right.
And the economy of not only these states, but the neighboring state of these states, it is almost dependent on Ganga. Almost whole year, there is one or other festival. Amavasya, Purnima, Makar Sankranti, Ardha Kumbh, Kumbh, something happens. Either in years or in many months in the years. And crores and crores and crores of people are earning their livelihood through that.
When you talk about the Ganga economy, are you hinting at the fact that Congress doesn't understand this bit, and maybe that's the reason why Jairam ji has made a statement?
Yeah,
made a statement like that.
It is the poor mind of the Congress. They actually.
You mean the ideological battle which is there between BJP and Congress?
No, they have some problem because the politics, the kind of politics Congress did, it was a divisive politics. They divided the country. Because when the country was divided, I was not born, it was Congress. It was Jawaharlal Nehru. And after that, they did the politics only on one slogan: secularism, communalism, secularism, communalism. So they cannot think beyond this. The whole thinking is confined. They have a very narrow-minded thinking. So I will not blame Jairam Ramesh. I will blame the whole party. The party has got a very narrow mindset.
Umaji, when you just spoke about the economy of Ganga, the Ganga Action Plan was first devised in 1985 when Rajiv Gandhi was at the helm of affairs. All these years had passed, so much of fund was released from the center. Funds were released, funds were misused, but no palpable action has been ever seen on the ground. It seems that people have never worked.
Yeah, I have gone through the time of 1985 to 2015. And the journey of 29 years of Ganga, which started in the time of Rajiv Gandhi. I think I will not, as Modi ji has told us, that every Prime Minister and every government has tried to do its best. So we have to learn from them. But I can say that...
In what way do you think is Modi ji is different from the other Prime Ministers?
Yeah, I'm saying, I'm talking about the Ganga plan, where I'm talking about it. Actually, I'm talking about Ganga plan and about Modi's mind.
Okay.
So, actually, Ganga was never treated in the wholesomeness.
Okay.
Because they thought that to clean Ganga, they have to have certain STPs only.
Okay.
And the sewage treatment plan will solve the whole problem. Right. It was not like that. First time in the Indian history, Ganga has been looked at with the wholesomeness.
But when you say wholesomeness, I mean the wholesome or the holistic approach towards Ganga, what does it include? Like earlier governments, you yourself are saying that their focus was mainly on the development of the sewerage plants. What else are you focusing on now?
We are focusing on the exclusiveness of the water of Ganga.
Which means?
That is, they call Brahmadrab. Ganga has a exclusive property.
Okay.
Ganga water.
Okay.
And that is that it can face any kind of pollution.
You're talking about the inherent properties of the water.
Yeah. Okay. Why it was there? So we have assigned Niri. Okay. It's a very, I think, very famous institute.
Right.
Then FRI, the Forest Research Institute, and they are making a project. And the project will come out. It will take 1.5 years because they will take 3 weathers. Right. They want to study 3 weathers, and we are planning the Eco Task Force. And the Eco Task Force will plant the trees which should be on the river bank of Ganga.
Important point you made, but how are you really tackling the pollution issue, like what you just spoke about? And now, when I talk about pollution, it's pollution by the tanneries, for example, in cities like Kanpur. Then you have pollution around the ghats where the people are bathing, they are taking a holy dip. So, in what way are you really looking at the pollution? It's happening all across.
I think the serious threat for the purity of the water comes through 2-3 things: industry, agriculture, and sewage. And they are to be treated in wholesomeness, again I am saying.
Right.
Because like people tell me, tell us the time when you will close down all the nalas. I can close it down within 48 hours. All I have to do, I have to erect a wall. Okay. But what will happen to the town afterward? Because the nala is connected with the town. Okay. The town is connected with the planning. And the planning is connected with every house.
So you are hinting at the fact that your ministry cannot do it alone. Obviously, you are dependent on other ministries. Yeah, they will also have a...
Yeah, it's not that my ministry cannot do it alone. It's that my ministry cannot do it only on the nala.
Okay.
My ministry has to take care of the whole urban planning also. They are cooperating with us totally. The urban development and the rural development are totally cooperating with us. Even same thing is with the industries, pulp and paper industry, sugarcane industry, wine industry, then leather industry.
Okay. But when you talk about industries, I was reading somewhere that environmentalists are saying, and probably it's part of your Ganga action plan, how you will ask the big industries to go in for a zero liquid discharge. But even if the bigger industries do it, what happens to the small informal sector where you have, taking the example of Kanpur, what happens to the small scale industries? There's so many of them, and how will they adhere to what your plan is?
I think when I started thinking about this Kanpur and other places, first thing I will say that actually the concept of the development did not recognize rivers.
Okay.
So the whole urbanization of the modern times is against the river. Okay. They never thought about the existence and identity of the river. So I will not blame the industry only. I'll blame everyone. The urbanization, total urbanization, I'll blame. So we are planning in the wholesomeness like the cluster of STPs, and that too with the cooperation of the industries. What right now they are doing, they are taking the fresh water and they are sending back to the river the filthy water.
Right.
So there has to be a certain confinement for that. So I'm thinking about an act also for that.
Okay, that's an important news point you're making. But you've always been espousing the cause of the free flow of the river. How is that going to be possible? Because all the rivers are connected state-wise. All the rivers are connecting different states, where it's a reality in itself that all the states will have barrages where they will have to conserve water. So in that case, what about holy rivers like Ganga? Where do they go? How does this free flow of water happen? Is it not a very big challenge?
When the two projects of my ministry are very important right now, one is Ganga and other is interlinking of rivers.
Okay.
And the question which you are asking is related to both.
Okay.
Because when I decide or when we think about connecting two rivers, then the problem comes, because then two states are there.
Right.
The same thing is about Ganga also. Ganga starts from Uttarakhand and goes to Bengal. Right now I don't see any opposition and any problem from the states.
Okay.
And there is a protection of the Supreme Court also.
Okay.
The Honorable Supreme Court is observing both our schemes, Ganga and interlinking of rivers they are monitoring. And they have told us that if you find any difficulty in implementing any program, come to us, we will give you the protection. So right now I don't see any problem. But there has to be a time when the whole country and every state, like I raised this issue just a month ago when the NGRBA meeting was taken by the Prime Minister. And that time Nitish Kumar was sitting here, and when we talked about bringing an act, then he said we should be considered. So definitely PM said that everybody will be considered for that.
Your new Ganga action plan, which you have devised, many environmentalists are saying that it's just the old wine in a new bottle. Do you agree with that?
First thing is that it is not wine, it is Ganga water.
Yeah, of course, of course.
Yeah, and second is that only raising STPs is a very small part of our planning.
Okay.
The wholesomeness, the pristine water of Ganga, the lively of the people dependent on Ganga, the aqua life of Ganga, the biodiversity of Ganga is the main focus of our program. So it is very different. I think the environmentalists are not aware of our program.
Have you begun really some work on Yamuna as
Yeah.
well, or your focus is totally on Ganga at the moment?
It's same focus as on Ganga,
Equal focus to both the
same on
rivers.
Yamuna.
Okay. Okay, Umaji, I'll take a break here. On the other side, we talk to Umaji more about the politics of the NDA government. Back in a moment. Welcome back. You're watching To The Point with Union Minister Uma Bharti. Umaji, coming to the fact that, do you think in the last 1 year, there has been any such moment when BJP was ruling and you felt that probably this was a moment which was uncalled for and it shouldn't have happened? Did you ever feel so in the last 1 year?
No. I was every day I was becoming prouder of the government. Yes, in the kind of stature India is gaining and the kind of politics and governance Narendra Modi is initiating.
So do you think that the opposition which is attacking Narendra Modi ji on various counts, whether it is insecurity amongst the minorities, then they sometimes raise issues like Sood Boot Ki Sarkar, which recently Rahul Gandhi had referred to Modi ji like that. Why do you think is there insecurity?
They don't know how to criticize.
Okay.
Because they know how to rule. They don't know how to struggle. So the issues which they are picking are very petty. And the kind of performance we have, it's very difficult to find flaw also.
Okay.
So what they are trying to raise, Dharmantaran. Tell me, is there any agitation from the side of minorities to bring an act? If there is any threat of conversion for the Muslims or Christian community, they could have come on the street to bring an act, which they never raised.
Right.
It means they don't feel threatened by the conversion at all. So I don't know why they raised this issue. The second thing you are saying about the Sood Boot Ki Sarkar, this is really very cheap, and this brings down Rahul's image on the mind of people in this country. Because what do they want? What do they expect from this country? They want this country to remain poor always. They want us to look like beggars. I just could not understand why is he very jealous then I can gift him one suit and one boot. There's no problem. One set of suit and boot.
But what he said was that when he's talking about a Gandhian philosophy, how can he wear a 10 lakh suit? That's a point he was
I
raising.
think Nehru was the ardent follower of Gandhi. And Nehru was famous for his Achkan pajama and rose. You remember?
Right, right.
So to follow Gandhian philosophy, you don't have to look like a beggar. You have to have the mindset to have the Gandhian economy. The philosophy is not an attire. The philosophy is the economy, Gandhian economy. That is pro-poor, pro-downtrodden. That is Gandhian economy. I think Rahul has to be educated for that also, what is the meaning of a dress and what is the meaning of an ideology.
I'm sure to what you're saying, if Congress watches this interview, I'm sure they're going to react. But now I'll ask you about a different issue. You have seen BJP growing over the years. Initially also when during the period of Atal Bihari Vajpayee, you were a leader and a very strong and a robust leader. What is the kind of change which you really see from then to now?
Things are very different.
When you say different, it's in terms of what?
In terms of everything, so I cannot compare.
Okay, so you think that comparison is a little different?
No, you cannot, you should not, one should not.
But ideologically also you feel that there is no difference?
Things are always different.
Okay.
Ideology always arises from the need of the people.
When you say need of the people, is it like the need of the hour?
It is the requirement of the people, of the nation.
Okay. But during elections last time, there were a lot of people, especially the opposition, which was raising this issue that a lot of senior leadership has been sidelined. Do you think that was called for, or it was it justified?
I don't want to comment on this because I don't know why these things were being said. I think people should talk only about the performance of the government, not about the family matters.
Okay, so you feel that it's an internal party matter which should not be discussed in public?
I don't want to discuss about it. By not discussing about it, I think I'm giving a lesson.
Yeah, of course. I mean, your message is loud and clear. You don't want to talk about it. Okay. So we'll move on to another issue, Didi. RSS and BJP have always gone together. And the kind of role which RSS played in 2014 elections, it was quite challenging, it was quite robust, and they delivered the result also. So do you think that earlier there was a certain curtain between RSS and BJP and people were not talking about it openly, that RSS is involved politically? But do you think that now that thing has been, that at least that impression has been vanished? RSS is walking along with BJP, ideologically and also politically?
RSS is a social organization.
Okay.
It's not political. So, and they have their own spokespersons for whatever they do. Right. So they don't need Uma Bharti's defense for them. All I will say that it is many Swayamsevaks who have become the minister right now.
But when you talk about functioning of Prime Minister Narendra Modi ji, and you're a cabinet minister yourself, people were saying all sorts of things initially when actually the government started to work, that Modi ji's style is very autocratic and it's a little dictatorial. Have you ever felt like this?
I know our Prime Minister since 1973. He was always like that, very strict, talking very little, listening more, thinking more, and very energetic. And I think the kind of challenge right now country is facing and the kind of problems there are, in this situation, and country is hoping so much from him, I don't think we should expect any goody talk from him. And sometime I think I will confess it, that I feel that the kind of energy, the kind of plan, the kind of thinking Prime Minister have for this country, I think we ministers and bureaucrats are not capable to keep pace with him. Yeah.
So you do admit that it's happening across the ministries, that actually bureaucrats are still getting familiar with his style of working, and probably they are spending sleepless nights because
not
the way
only,
he functions.
Not only bureaucrats. I'm not
like ministers as well.
I will not like Arvind Kejriwal, who will let down the bureaucrats. Okay. We do need bureaucrats. They have passed an examination. Okay. They struggled years to pass an IAS, and they also have certain dreams for this country. What I'm saying is that even as ministers, we were not used to this kind of discipline. I always, quote an example. I used to love driving. Driving is my passion. So when I was in America, I wanted to drive there also. Then I got a provisional license. but I was not used to rules.
Okay.
So I got very scared. And I started to say, I cannot drive, I cannot drive. So same thing is in the government. We are not used to follow rules.
But coming to Uttar Pradesh, 2017 is the time when state will go for elections. How are you really planning? Because your constituency Jhansi is there, and have you really? Do you really feel that the party has begun its work as far as energizing the cadres and doing its homework, preparing? All that work has already begun.
BJP is a party when they separate the Satta and Sangathan. Sangathan keeps doing its work. It's a cadre-based party. And cadres are always working, always alert. So they are working there. And
how prepared are you for UP elections?
we will form the government in Uttar Pradesh. Because the kind of resentment is against the Samajwadi Party government and the kind of bad memories they have of the Mayawati government. So definitely BJP will bring its own majority in Uttar Pradesh.
What do you have to say about Bundelkhand? Because it's a very backward area, scarcity of water, scarcity of the basic infrastructure. The state government is not doing enough.
I do talk to them. I talk to Akhilesh.
What kind of response do you really get?
No, the problem with the UP politicians, Samajwadi politicians and BSP politicians are, they don't know the development politics. They know the casteist politics. Okay. And they have divided the bureaucracy also in the casteist politics. So even the bureaucracy does not understand the concept of development. You will not believe this. Uttar Pradesh being the largest state of this country, they don't have the development on the political agenda and they don't have the development on their mind also, because they are very proud of this, that they can win with the combination of 2-3 castes.
Are you hinting at the fact that caste probably will not play an important role in the 2017 elections? BJP probably will go beyond that?
I think what happened in 2014 elections all over the country, this was the first time after the independence that an election was fought on the issue of development.
Right.
I think the same kind of issue will be raised in Uttar Pradesh.
But Didi, what we saw just before 2014 elections was, when you specifically talk about Uttar Pradesh, you saw Muzaffarnagar riots where a lot of polarization happened. Do you think that probably this could happen again? Because a lot of polarization happens, the Hindu and the Muslim vote gets divided.
Congress will try that. Okay. And Samajwadi Party will try that, because that's what they know. And by talking about Dharmantaran and other things, they tried to do it, but they could not succeed. We have decided, I remember I was the in charge of Bihar elections in 2005. And Lalu Yadav ji made his every attempt to divide the state in the secularism versus communalism. And that time I continuously, rigorously traveled the state for 1 year. And I appealed to the media and I appealed to the public. And I said, please let us focus only on Sadak, Bijli, Pani. Focus on this. And ultimately we formed the government and Nitish became CM. Same thing I did in Madhya Pradesh.
But Didi, you functioned politically also for so many years. Tell us very honestly. I mean, I'm trying to understand from you whether it is actually a political reality where you actually can do away with the caste factor. Like, of course, your focus would be Sadak, Bijli, Pani. BJP will talk about the politics of development, which on the face of it, it looks nice that yes, people are talking about development, and yes, Modi ji is also talking about it, and people are lapping it up that yes, we are talking development. But realistically, when you work out the political arithmetic, it doesn't happen like that.
It does. It happened in 2014 when he made development the agenda.
No, but
then people were waiting.
We saw community-based meetings. For you took the example of Bihar. We saw that various communities in Bihar were addressed. Separate sammelans were happening for those particular communities. So, is it not caste-centric?
I think communities is a reality right now, but agenda cannot be divided in the community. Okay. Agenda was poverty, okay, and which was affecting all the communities, and the demand was development. Okay. That was affecting all the communities. So there was no problem.
But BJP has always been branded as a Hindutva party, and a lot has been said by various RSS leaders as to why they address it as a Hindutva party. Do you think that now the time has come when BJP should not be addressed as a Hindutva party?
I will not appeal to the people. Okay. Because
a saffron party, a Hindutva party.
This, then I will be saying this, then something they will be saying. It will people who will decide. They did not believe in this.
But what according to you is a saffron ideology?
Saffron
is it what Modi ji is talking about? Sabka Saath, Sabka Vikas. Of course, that is one thing. But in reality, in a crux, what is the saffron ideology according to you?
Even I don't know. You believe this? I want to ask those who talk about it that do they know what they are talking? Sometimes, they just close their eyes and keep on talking. I remember like food park, food park, food park. Today I was watching Arvind Kejriwal on TV.
Right.
Delhi, 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 Delhi is ours, Delhi is ours. Oh my God, Delhi. Baba, you see the act.
But when you are dressed up in a saffron clothing and then you are addressing a large gathering of people, people, of course, you've got a great mass following. People know you as a mass leader. But when you talk about the politics of development, do you really think that people take you seriously? Because they would always have this thing in their mind that, oh,
you forget that I became chief minister. And I did not inherit the seat from somebody else. I won the election. And I won the election with 3/4 majority. So the color of my cloth does not affect the mind of people. It does affect the certain section of the politics, academia, intelligentsia and media, but not to the majority of the people of this country.
But if asked by the party, would Uma Bharti ji go back to the state, maybe in a CM's race as a CM candidate?
I do not imagine myself anything except that I'm sitting somewhere near Ganga.
It was a pleasure talking to you, Uma Bharti ji. Thank you so
Thank you.
much. So that's it on this episode of To The Point. See you next time with another personality. Goodbye and thanks for watching.